Tiger Woods rose to fame as one of the greatest golfers the world had ever seen. Dominating the sport with incredible skill, confidence, and determination.
I think this is the beginning, tragically, of a long road for him.
But after years at the top came injuries, personal struggles, and setbacks that threatened to destroy his legacy. Despite it all, Tiger fought his way back into the spotlight, proving that greatness is not just about winning, but about never giving up. But after everything he faced, how will Tiger Woods truly be remembered?
Golf is basically a microcosm of life. It's amazing that the full array of emotions that one person has to go through in one round of golf. Dedication, practice, patience. They have to deal with frustration. And they have to be able to handle it. And if they can handle it on the golf course, there's no reason why they can't handle it in society and in their lives.
In 2026, Tiger Woods found himself back in the headlines following another car accident near his home in Florida. Authorities alleged Woods showed signs of impairment at the scene, reigniting concerns surrounding the prescription medication and chronic pain issues that had plagued him throughout the later stages of his career. For many, the incident felt like another painful chapter in the long decline of an athlete once considered untouchable. But how did one of the most successful athletes the world had ever seen end up here? To really understand Tiger's life, we must start from the beginning. Born the youngest of 6 children, Tiger's father, Earl Woods, spent his early years growing up in segregated Kansas. By the time he turned 13, both of his parents had died, leaving his older sister to raise him. At Kansas State University, Earl became a standout baseball catcher with talent worthy of the major leagues. But during an era when racial barriers still shut black athletes out of professional baseball, his dream of playing at the highest level was taken from him. Believing the military offered a place where he could finally be treated equally, Earl enlisted in the Green Berets in 1960. He completed 2 demanding tours in Vietnam, the latter with the elite United States Army Special Forces. Reportedly working in demolition operations, Earl carried out missions deep within enemy territory, planting explosives behind hostile lines. To survive required relentless mental discipline and physical endurance. As Earl would later describe it, he had escaped death more times than he could remember. While stationed in Thailand, Earl met Kultida. After retiring in 1974 with the rank of lieutenant colonel, the couple settled in California. Kultida gave birth to their only son, a child they would shape from the very beginning according to their own ambitions. Combining parts of their own names, Earl and Kultida called him Eldrick. Eldrick would later inherit the nickname Tiger, inspired by a close friendship Earl formed with a South Vietnamese army officer during the war. Before he was even a year old, Tiger held his first golf club. It quickly became clear he possessed rare natural ability. Stories of the young prodigy spread fast, and before reaching the age of 3, Tiger was already appearing on national television, The Mike Douglas Show. Making his television debut beside his father,
how about a putting contest with Mr. Hope? Can he putt too?
Oh, yes.
Okay, well let him putt first.
Why don't you try?
the future golf superstar took part in a putting contest against comedian and passionate golfer Bob Hope.
You got any money?
Even at such a young age, Tiger displayed a remarkably smooth and instinctive swing. His behavior revealed 2 sides of his personality: excited and energetic when stepping onto the stage, yet noticeably uneasy once the cameras focused on him.
This man right here.
A child determined to impress his father. while still uncomfortable under the spotlight. But according to Earl, that spotlight was exactly where Tiger was meant to be.
I guess what I do remember is my first trophy I ever won. I was 3.5 years old. I came in second in a pitch, putt, and drive contest for like a little pee-wee division, like a 9-under thing. And I just remember the trophy being as tall as me. So that was one of the coolest things. I still have the trophy at home.
By the age of 7, Tiger had already accomplished something many golfers spend their entire lives chasing: his first hole in one. Earl entered his son into the youngest division available at the Junior World Golf Championships. Just 8 years old, Tiger won the 9 to 10 age bracket. That same year, Tiger shot below 80 for the first time, an achievement that, according to National Golf Foundation statistics, would place an 8-year-old Tiger among the top 5% of golfers, even by today's standards. Tiger would go on to capture the Junior World Championship 6 times, each victory building his confidence further. The quiet, reserved child who had once appeared nervous in front of cameras was slowly disappearing. Tiger later credited his work ethic and fierce competitiveness for helping him confront every obstacle put in front of him. To him, adversity wasn't something to fear, it was something to defeat. Whether battling a speech impediment or dealing with racial discrimination, Tiger refused to back down. Throughout his early years in golf, Tiger regularly encountered racism. Accounts from people at the Navy golf course, where he trained alongside his father, exposed the prejudice woven into the sport at the time. He was questioned over whether he had paid for merchandise, removed from driving ranges, judged purely because of the color of his skin. Tiger had entered a sport overwhelmingly dominated by white players, but every insult, every obstacle, only strengthened his mentality further. He became determined to prove every doubter wrong. At just 15 years old, Tiger shattered another record, becoming the youngest player ever to win the U.S. Junior Amateur Championship. Then he did it again, and again. The rising prodigy repeated the remarkable feat once again, this time at the U.S. Amateur Championship. 3 consecutive victories. And in doing so, Tiger also became the youngest winner in the tournament's history, a record that stood untouched for 14 years. By this stage, every barrier placed in front of him, whether tied to race or age, was being dismantled. Exactly as Earl had imagined, his son was evolving into something far greater than an athlete. To Earl, Tiger was never destined to simply dominate golf. He believed his son would become a global cultural figure, someone capable of influencing society far beyond the fairways. Enormous expectations for a young golfer to carry.
Don't eat them all up, sir.
While studying at Stanford University and competing as an amateur, Woods began chasing golf's ultimate prizes, the major championships. His debut appearance at the Masters ended without contention, yet Tiger still made history as the only amateur to survive the cut. A year later, his performance at the Open Championship earned him the silver medal, awarded to the tournament's leading amateur. But what happened next changed the game of golf forever. The moment Tiger turned professional, the sport changed overnight. Almost immediately, the young phenomenon signed what would become one of the most groundbreaking endorsement deals in sporting history. Partnering with Nike and Titleist, Tiger reportedly secured contracts worth $60 million across 5 years. At the time, no athlete had ever received endorsement deals on that scale. Before fully establishing himself as a professional golfer, Tiger was already rewriting history away from the course. Soon, major brands from car manufacturers to financial institutions rushed to align themselves with him.
I want to do more.
For Earl, the partnership with Nike represented more than business. It gave Tiger the platform to fulfill the destiny his father had always envisioned. Earl once claimed he believed his purpose in life was to guide and prepare the next transformative figure in human history, not only in sport, but socially and culturally. In his eyes, Tiger could stand alongside figures such as Mandela and Gandhi. He genuinely believed his son could become a unifying force for humanity.
Oh, those are good. There's nothing better than stolen strawberries.
But with a global corporation now helping shape Tiger's image, Earl no longer held complete control over his son's career.
Talk about sweet.
Meanwhile, Tiger's performances only intensified the hype. He won 3 of his first 9 events as a professional, immediately proving he belonged among the elite. There's little doubt Nike signed Tiger because of his extraordinary talent, but one particular advertising campaign revealed that his impact stretched far beyond golf. To Nike, Tiger represented more than an athlete. He symbolized change. Unlike fellow Nike superstar Michael Jordan, whose marketing centered around power, athleticism, and highlight reel moments on the basketball court, Tiger's appeal carried a deeper cultural message. And so, Nike launched the controversial campaign, Hello World. Now, Tiger was at the Augusta National, the Masters. A golf course carrying a deeply controversial history of racial exclusion and elitism. For decades, black caddies were mandatory for players. Black golfers themselves weren't even permitted to compete at Augusta National until 1975. Tiger arrived there with more than a tournament to win. He had a point to prove. Holding a 12-shot advantage heading into the final stages of the tournament, Woods ignored the racist undertones that still lingered around the legendary course. At just 21 years old, he became the youngest Masters champion in history. Following that triumph, Tiger was widely credited with introducing golf to an entirely new audience. A younger audience, a more diverse audience. Golf had entered a different era. Tiger Mania was coming. Over the next decade, Woods earned close to $770 million. That same year, Tiger reached another milestone, becoming the fastest golfer ever to climb to world number 1.
He's incredible, great phenomenon, great for golf.
He's just a sensational player, and as you say, a phenomenon. And a nice young fella, and I think he's doing everything the right way. He handles it very well.
I think it's good, and on the other hand, well, it makes us work harder.
It's an honor and a privilege that people think that highly of you.
He's played so well, winning the Masters as he did by 12 shots. Youngest player ever to do that. Of his 23 starts, he's won 7 times. It's beyond belief.
To many, he represented the image of a new multicultural America. But Tiger himself resisted being confined to a single racial category. During an interview with Oprah that sparked criticism and debate, Woods explained how he had identified himself growing up. His answer revealed a defining part of his mentality. Tiger refused to be limited by labels created by other people. Instead, he defined himself on his own terms. The same philosophy he brought to his golf game.
Can we get this straight? What do you call yourself? Do you call yourself African American? I know you are. Your father's half black, quarter Chinese, quarter American Indian. Mother's half Thai, quarter Chinese, and quarter white. So you are. That's why you are America's son.
Yeah.
You are America's son.
A little funny thing is, growing up, I came up with this name. I'm a Cobblinasian.
A Cobblinasian.
Caucasian, blue, black, Indian, Asian. Cobblinasian.
Tiger made a decision that would reignite his dominance. He underwent laser eye surgery to correct his severe short-sightedness. The procedure proved successful, and suddenly, Tiger was back competing for major championships. With his vision sharpened, Woods produced something few thought possible. June 2000, the US Open. Walking up the 18th fairway at 15 under par, Tiger completed what Sports Illustrated later described as the greatest performance in golf history. His 15-shot victory shattered the previous US Open record margin of 9 strokes, set back in 1921. Now operating at the peak of his powers, Tiger entered both the Open Championship and the PGA Championship, overflowing with confidence.
It's just kind of neat having it at St. Andrews because I think, in my opinion, this is the oldest championship. I don't see why they don't play it here every year.
Well, it hasn't done so well in Scotland before, so I don't think it'll be him.
I think he's so much pressure on him now to make the Grand Slam. I think he'll have too much on his mind to win it.
If he hits his form, I don't think anybody will beat him at all. I just think he'll be tops.
His precision, his power, his mental strength. No golfer in the world could match him. People began to wonder whether Tiger could achieve something no modern golfer had ever done, holding all 4 major titles at the same time. But Tiger's influence extended beyond winning tournaments. He completely transformed the physical side of professional golf. For years, golf had jokingly been described as a good walk spoiled. Tiger changed that perception forever. The strength, explosiveness, balance, and rotational power within his swing had never been seen in the sport before. Before Woods arrived, intense gym training was rarely considered essential for golfers. Tiger made athletic conditioning part of the game itself. His ability to drive the ball enormous distances sparked debates across the golfing world. Some believed Woods was actually harming the sport, arguing his dominance removed the competitive balance between players. At his peak, Tiger appeared almost unbeatable. Statistics even suggested golfers performed better in tournaments when Woods wasn't competing. Courses across America responded by attempting to neutralize his advantage. Fairways were lengthened, greens became faster, hazards became harsher. Tournament organizers did everything possible to level the playing field. Tiger had proven to the world that he stood alone at the top of golf. What became known as the Tiger Slam saw Woods capture all 4 major championships consecutively. Although the victories did not come within the same calendar year, no golfer before or since has replicated the feat. Away from the course, Tiger continued redefining what it meant to be a global sports superstar. He signed a 5-year extension with Nike reportedly worth $100 million, once again breaking endorsement records. His image was everywhere: cereal boxes, television commercials, banks, cars. Tiger Woods had become the most marketable athlete on the planet. Since 1998, Woods had also partnered with EA Sports, bringing his influence into homes around the world. Now, fans weren't just watching Tiger dominate on television or seeing him on billboards. Children and adults alike could step into his shoes digitally. His role in pushing golf firmly into mainstream culture and making the sport more accessible than ever before cannot be overstated. But as Tiger's wealth and fame skyrocketed, the relationship with his father began to change. During the Open Championship in 2001, Woods met the woman he would later marry, Elin Nordegren, a model and nanny working for professional golfer Jesper Parnevik. Barbados, October 2004. Surrounded by intense media attention, the couple exchanged vows during an extravagant sunset ceremony. But privacy is difficult to maintain when you are arguably the most famous athlete in the world. And as Tiger's list of achievements continued to grow, so did the pressures and invasiveness of celebrity life. Following a disappointing season that ended his historic streak of 264 consecutive weeks as world number one, Woods looked determined to respond. Tiger produced a moment of brilliance that instantly became part of sporting history. His extraordinary chip on the 16th hole, a shot many considered almost impossible.
Here it comes. Oh my goodness.
The moment later inspired one of the company's most iconic advertising campaigns and helped Tiger secure his 4th green jacket. The shot soon became known as the $1 Million Chip. Every replay, every slow-motion angle, every moment the Nike logo hovered dramatically on the edge of the cup for those unforgettable 2 seconds. The emotional shift that followed in the months ahead pushed Tiger's mental resilience to its absolute limit. May 3rd, 2006. The man who had shaped, guided, and ultimately helped create what many considered the greatest golfer of all time passed away. Earl Woods died of a heart attack after a 6-year battle with prostate cancer.
What my father's meant to me as a parent, as a friend, as a mentor, all the things that he's contributed in my life. After his passing, I think this is the best way to honor him. Started from get-go. Been absolutely monumental in its growth around the country, his speaking, the clinics, hundreds of clinics we've done, the books he's written, all the kids that he's influenced. It's been absolutely remarkable. He was all about helping others, and I think about it every day. How can I become a better player, a better father, a better husband, a better friend? That's what my dad was all about.
As it left the club, 67 to finish for Tiger Woods.
In the wake of that tragedy, Tiger eventually found his way back to winning form, as if driven by something deeper than competition alone. But his reaction after winning the Open Championship in 2006 revealed something far more human beneath the dominance. The emotional weight of Earl's passing had left a visible mark, exposing a vulnerability rarely seen in the world's most controlled athlete.
I wouldn't say it's been a great year at all. From the golf standpoint, yeah, it's been nice, but it's been a very sad one. And that's if I remember anything about 2006, is more than anything is loss. I lost my best friend, and so from that standpoint, it's been a tough year. As my dad always taught me is that if you put a lot of effort into it, you're going to get results. But if you don't put any effort into it, you're not going to get any results out of it. But more importantly, you don't deserve any results. And one of the things that my dad always did when I was growing up, he always kept it competitive and fun. And I love to compete, so he kind of just always fed upon that. And my whole goal, my entire childhood, was to try and beat my dad. Golf has now become a global sport, and it wasn't necessarily the case about 15, 20 years ago, but it certainly has broadened. We're playing World Golf Championships around the world, and I think golf is the new global sport, just waiting to explode.
You were quoted as saying that you wanted to quit at the top. You've got a few more majors to win before that, I imagine, but so we're going to see Tiger around for a few years yet.
Yeah, but I think that's the best way to go out is obviously win a tournament and go home. I've always said that I won't play this game, and if I know my best isn't good enough anymore, if I play my best and I can't win anymore, there's nothing wrong with stepping aside and let the next generation play, and that's the evolution of all sport.
Though his dominance on the course continued, the relentless force behind his long-range power began to extract a physical cost. At the US Open, he faced one of the most improbable victories of his career. Woods entered the tournament with limited preparation, already carrying a serious injury to his left knee that caused him significant pain throughout the week. His body was reaching its limit. And yet, against all odds, Tiger delivered something extraordinary. He survived an 18-hole playoff, forced sudden death, and ultimately sealed victory by winning the very first playoff hole. Shortly after the championship, Tiger underwent immediate knee surgery, and the golfing world was left questioning whether he would ever return to his previous level. The severity of the injury proved even greater than initially reported, further magnifying the scale of what he had achieved. For the remainder of the year, Woods was ruled out of competition, and golf, in his absence, felt noticeably different. Television ratings dropped, public interest declined. The sport struggled to maintain its usual momentum. It became clear just how much influence one athlete had on the entire industry. The world waited anxiously for the return of the first professional athlete to surpass $1 billion in career earnings. Tiger Woods had become, at that point, the second richest person of color in the world, behind Oprah Winfrey. In February, he began the year on a high note with the birth of his son, Charlie Axel Woods, arriving just as a media storm was beginning to build in the background. By the end of the year, tabloids, most notably the National Enquirer, had compiled an extensive record of his movements across cities like Las Vegas and New York. A publication known for its aggressive reporting on public figures had turned its attention toward Tiger, and he would become its next major target. In the years leading up to the scandal, Tiger had become known for spending time in cities built around excess and nightlife. In November 2009, the National Enquirer published the story that would trigger the collapse of Tiger Woods' carefully crafted public image. The article alleged that Woods had been involved in an extramarital affair with Rachel Uchitel, a nightclub hostess at the time. Although the pair had been photographed together and reportedly followed during the Australian Open, both denied the accusations. But the damage had already begun. For the first time in his life, Tiger Woods dominated headlines for reasons unrelated to golf. The world's most famous athlete had become the center of a media frenzy. November 27th, 2:25 a.m. Just meters from his Florida home, Tiger crashed his SUV, striking a fire hydrant before colliding with a tree. The former world number one was taken to a nearby hospital. At first, the public feared for his life. What no one realized was that it was his reputation hanging in the balance. When questioned about the shattered rear window of the vehicle, Elin Nordegren told police she had used a golf club to break the glass in an effort to pull her unconscious husband from the car. November 29th, after being reportedly unavailable for 2 consecutive days, police finally attempted to interview Woods regarding the accident. The limited access they received only intensified public speculation. Driven relentlessly by tabloid media, Tiger's private life had now become America's biggest story. His face dominated newspapers, television broadcasts, and magazine covers across the country. December 2nd, a second woman came forward in Us Weekly, alleging another affair with Woods. And suddenly, the floodgates opened. By the end of the scandal, more than 14 women had publicly claimed involvement with Tiger.
Probably thought he was a better guy than he is then, and I would probably just have to apologize to her and hope she uses a driver next time and then a 3-iron, I would say.
Major sponsors quickly began distancing themselves from the face of modern golf. Among the most affected was Accenture, which severed ties with Woods almost immediately. Reports later estimated that companies associated with Woods may have collectively lost up to $12 billion in shareholder value during the scandal. December 11th. Tiger announced he would be stepping away from professional golf indefinitely. The announcement sparked serious doubts over whether he would ever return to the dominance he once held. February 19th, 2010. In a carefully controlled press conference broadcast around the world, Woods publicly apologized for his actions.
Elin and I have started the process of discussing the damage caused by my behavior. As Elin pointed out to me, my real apology to her will not come in the form of words. It will come from my behavior over time.
The moment revealed the immense pressures attached to global fame. Being forced to apologize not only to family and friends, but to the entire world, exposed the burden of living as an international role model. Tiger Woods had made serious mistakes, but Eldrick Woods had also become a victim of the impossible pedestal the world had placed him upon. Attempting to confront his personal struggles, Tiger later entered a 6-week therapy program at Gentle Path in Pine Grove, a clinic specializing in treatment for sex addiction. Efforts to repair the marriage ultimately failed. After 6 years together, Tiger Woods and Elin Nordegren divorced on August 23, 2010. Tiger returned to professional golf at the 2010 Masters. Despite the relentless scrutiny surrounding his personal life, Woods demonstrated the mental resilience his father had ingrained in him from childhood. Battling through the hostility and pressure, he finished tied for 4th, a significant step toward rebuilding both his career and his public image. Tiger once again looked like the dominant force that had once ruled golf. Although another major title still eluded him, Woods returned to the #1 ranking in the world and reclaimed PGA Player of the Year honors.
I feel like I'm playing well. I just need to get some tournament rounds under my belt. I haven't played one tournament in the last, 18 months, 16 months. So I just need some tournament golf, and I'm really looking forward to it. I need to have my health at a state where I can prepare and getting my game ready to play at an elite level. And when I feel that way, and then health-wise, and I'm able to do that, I know I can shoot scores. And I know I can win golf tournaments. And there are points in time when I didn't know if I could ever swing a golf club again, play with my kids, do all the activities. There were some pretty tough times, and worked through it, and to have also the good days, and now to where I can compete again. I still have to go through a lot to, for the rest of my life because of the procedures, but I'm able to get back out here and play.
But the following year brought another deeply public setback. May 29th, 2017, 3 a.m. Jupiter Island, Florida. Tiger Woods was discovered asleep behind the wheel of a stationary vehicle, while under the influence of multiple prescription medications. Tiger later pleaded guilty to reckless driving. He received 1 year of probation, a $250 fine, mandatory drug testing, and 50 hours of community service. Yet, if there was anyone capable of rebuilding himself, physically and mentally, it was Earl Woods' son. In 2019, Tiger Woods entered Augusta National carrying something no Masters champion ever had before: a fused spine. Only 2 years earlier, he had struggled to walk without pain. Many believed his career was over. But through the relentless mental discipline his father had ingrained in him from childhood, Tiger produced what countless fans and analysts described as the greatest comeback in sporting history. 11 years after his last major victory, Woods captured another green jacket. At 43 years old, he became the second oldest Masters champion ever, behind only the legendary Jack Nicklaus, who won at 46.
Well, large gallery sees Nicklaus still with a chance to make history. History in the making is what it is, as Nicklaus sinks his final putt for a 70 to beat Jacobs by 2 strokes, the first man in 32 years of Masters play to get the emblematic Masters jacket in successive years.
Now sitting on 15 major titles, Tiger edged closer to golf's most untouchable record, Nicklaus's 18.
Getting myself into position to win the Masters was, it took a lot out of me. That golf course puts so much stress on the system. It was a very emotional week and one that I keep reliving. It's hard to believe that I pulled it off and I ended up winning the tournament.
When you look back at the last few years with exactly what he's been through with all the surgeries, there was probably only himself that thought yesterday was possible.
Perseverance and that ability to look forward is such a character trait of his. The personal issues, the injury issues, the length of time as well that we're talking about, it makes for a phenomenal achievement.
This year you've seen a very different side to him, and I hope he continues it because it's a new Tiger and it's a new one that we all like watching.
May 2019, the White House.
Today is my privilege to award our nation's highest civilian honor to one of the greatest athletes in the history of sports, Tiger Woods. He inspired millions of young Americans with his thrilling wire-to-wire victories. Tiger Woods is a global symbol of American excellence, devotion, and drive. As of today, Tiger has 81 PGA Tour victories, one behind the all-time record. Gonna catch that soon. He's won the second most major championships. He holds the record for most weeks at #1 in the world, more than twice as long as anyone else.
The United States is now proud to honor Tiger Woods, whose tenacity, willpower, and unyielding drive inspire us all.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. I've battled. I've tried to hang in there, and I've tried to come back and play the great game of golf again. I've been lucky enough to have had the opportunity to do it again, and found a game that has allowed me to do this.
Once again celebrated by the public, Tiger continued his pursuit of golfing immortality.
I made a conscious effort to cut back on my schedule to make sure that I don't play too much. I want to play here as long as I possibly can, and you have to understand if I play a lot, that I won't be out here that long.
Later that year, during a visit to Japan, Woods spoke confidently about the future and his determination to keep competing at the highest level.
タイガー・ウッズ選手、はじめまして、スケボーをやっている西村碧です。もしタイガー・ウッズ選手が来年、東京に再度いらっしゃることになったら、応援に来てもらえますでしょうか?
As far as coming out and watching her in the Olympics, I need to make it first. Hopefully I can qualify, and hopefully I can be here and represent the United States.
But fate had another devastating twist ahead. February 23, 2021. Rancho Palos Verdes, California. As reports slowly spread across television and radio broadcasts, fans around the world waited anxiously after learning Tiger Woods had been involved in another serious single-vehicle crash. Traveling north along Hawthorne Boulevard, Woods's SUV crossed the median, mounted a curb, and rolled violently down an embankment. Emergency responders used an axe and Halligan tool to cut Tiger free from the wreckage before rushing him to Harbor UCLA Medical Center. The crash left Woods with multiple severe injuries, including compound fractures to his leg. According to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Tiger later told investigators he had no recollection of the incident.
The first thing to consider is that this is an open injury, not a closed injury. So an open injury, as you, I'm sure, understand, means that the bones were exposed to the outside air. So that means that there is an increased risk of infection. The second thing, reading this statement, is that he's fractured his leg at several positions. So it's not just 2 bits, it's in at least 3. And of course, that can affect healing times. The other important thing is that they've had to do, as part of that operation, which you often have to, is to do an emergency release of the muscles in his leg. Now, that's unfortunately something that has to be done commonly, because when you have such a high energy injury, the bleeding into the surrounding muscles is great, and it can compromise the health and livelihood of those muscles. So you have to release them so they can breathe again. I think this is the beginning, tragically, of a long road for him. He had his 5th spine surgery about 6 weeks ago. So it's an absolute tragedy.
And things didn't get much better. Following his remarkable 2019 Masters victory, Tiger continued fighting to extend his career despite constant pain and repeated surgeries. But after the devastating 2021 crash in California left him with severe leg injuries, simply walking again became a challenge, let alone competing for major championships. Still, Tiger refused to walk away from the game entirely. From occasional tournament appearances to playing alongside his son Charlie, Woods continued chasing the sport that had defined his entire life. But the physical and mental toll never disappeared, which brings us to today in 2026 in Florida. Tiger Woods was once again involved in a serious car accident near his home in Jupiter Island. Authorities alleged Woods showed signs of impairment at the scene, reigniting public concern surrounding the pain medication and surgeries that had dominated the later years of his life. For many, it felt like a tragic repetition of the struggles that had followed him for over a decade. And yet, through every scandal, injury, collapse, and comeback, Tiger Woods remained one of the most influential athletes the world had ever seen. A golfer who didn't just change his sport, but changed the culture around it forever. From breaking racial barriers to redefining athleticism in golf, Tiger's legacy became far bigger than trophies or records. Because regardless of the mistakes, the controversy, or the pain, the story of Tiger Woods was never really about perfection. It was about resilience,